The night the thief entered our compound, I did not sleep at all. I was sitting on my bed when I saw a shadow pass in front of Moosa's open door. My heart jumped into my throat. Everybody knew that door never closed. Everybody knew that if trouble ever came, it would start from there. Before anything else could happen, the shadow ran back out like it saw death. I heard fast footsteps, then silence. That was when I knew this story was not normal. That was when I knew Moosa was not a madman the way we all used to joke. My name does not matter. I am just one of the people living in Ajinaku compound. Face me, I face you rooms, one long corridor, one tap that barely works, and one toilet that everybody complains about. We know each other too well here, too much even. Moosa has lived in this compound longer than me. Thin man, dark skin, quiet eyes. He sells phone chargers and torchlight at the junction. He greets everybody, but he does not talk plenty. The first thing anybody notices about him is his door, wide open every night. Rain can fall like it wants to wash the earth away, Moosa door will still be open. Mosquito will be dancing like wedding party, Moosa door will still be open. Cold will be biting skin, Moosa door will still be open. At first we laughed. One man said thief will carry him one day. One woman said maybe he wants breeze. Children dared each other to pass his door at night. Me, I just watched. Anytime somebody asked Moosa why he sleeps like that, he would smile small and say he is waiting for somebody to enter. He would say it like a normal thing, like somebody waiting for NEPA light. Waiting for who? Waiting for what? Nobody knew. That was how we were living until that night when the shadow entered his room and ran back out shaking. After that night, my eyes opened. Let me go back small. Every evening, when the sun is going down and everybody's coming back from work, Moosa will spread his thin mattress on the floor. No bed frame, just floor. He will sit there and stare outside like a guard that nobody paid. Sometimes he will talk to himself in low voice. Sometimes he will just be quiet. One evening I was washing plate near the tap when rain started falling. Heavy rain. Water was entering Moosa's room. I shouted to him to close his door. He shook his head slowly and left it open. That night he slept inside water. People started avoiding his side of the corridor. Mothers warned their children. Even me, I started passing the other side when it is late. Then NEPA took light one night. The whole compound was dark. That was when the scream came from Moosa's room. That was the first crack. From that night, everything changed. But the real turning point was the night the thief entered and ran. That was the night I decided to watch Moosa properly, because nobody waits like that without a reason. After the night the thief ran away, sleep left our compound. Everybody pretended nothing happened, but we were all listening harder at night. Any small sound made people sit up. Any footstep made hearts beat fast. Moosa did not change anything. The next evening, like nothing touched him, he spread his thin mattress again. He wiped the floor dry with an old wrapper and lay down. The door stayed wide open. I watched from my own doorway, pretending to arrange my shoes. Rain did not fall that night, but cold entered like a thief. Moosa lay on his back, eyes open, staring into the dark corridor. Anybody that passed would think he was not even blinking. Around midnight, I heard him talking. His voice was low, almost like he was talking to a child. He was saying sorry. He was saying wait small. He was saying I'm here. I did not understand who he was talking to, but my chest felt heavy. The next morning, news spread faster than fire. People said Moosa scared a thief with juju. Some said he was seeing something we could not see. One woman said she saw him crying at night. Another man said mooses cursed. The landlord came that afternoon, tall man with big stomach and loud voice. He stood in the corridor and shouted Moosa's name. Moosa came out slowly and greeted him. The landlord asked why he refused to close his door and why strange things were happening from his room. Moosa listened quietly. When the landlord finished talking, Moosa said nothing for a long time. He just stood there, head down. Finally, he said the door would remain open. The landlord shouted that he would chase him out. Moosa nodded like somebody that already knew. That evening, the compound felt different. People stayed inside their rooms. Even children did not run around. Everybody was waiting for something, but nobody knew what. Later that night, I could not sleep. I sat up and watched Moosa's room again. He was sitting on the mattress, back against the wall, door open like mouth waiting to speak. Then he started telling a story. He was not shouting. He was not performing. He was just talking to the empty space in front of him. He said there was a time when two brothers slept in that room. He said one brother always slept close to the door. He said fear can make a man do things he will regret forever. As he talked, his voice started shaking. He said that night changed everything. He said blood was on the floor where water now enters. I wanted to stop listening, but my body refused to move. He said the brother asked for help, and nobody answered. He said the door was locked from inside. He said morning came too late. When Moosa stopped talking, silence covered the compound like cloth. Even insects stopped making noise. I went back inside my room and laid down, but sleep did not come. That night I understood something. Moosa was not waiting for a thief. He was not waiting for danger. He was waiting for a chance to forgive himself. And I knew this waiting would not end easy.
After that night of confession, Moosa became the center of our compound, even though he did not try to be. People watched him like they were watching fire that could spread at any time. Some felt pity, some felt fear, some felt anger. The anger was the loudest. A woman whose room was close to Moosa said her children could not sleep. She said the open door was inviting bad things. Another man said robbers would soon test us again. They carried the matter to the landlord. The landlord came back, this time with two other men. They stood in front of Moosa's room and talked like judges. I stood at my doorway and listened. They said he was disturbing the peace. They said he was bringing bad luck. They said if anything happened in the compound, everybody would blame him. Moosa stood there quietly. He did not beg. He did not explain again. When they finished talking, he only said the door would remain open. That was when the landlord lost patience. He gave Moosa 1 week. Close the door or pack out. The news spread fast. People argued about it. Some said Moosa should just close the door and rest. Some said he had the right to sleep how he liked. Others said they did not want to die because of another man's guilt. That night, rain fell heavy. Water ran through the corridor like a small river. People rushed to close their doors and windows. I closed mine too, but Moosa's door stayed open. Water entered his room again. His mattress soaked. Cold entered his bones. Still he lay there. Around midnight I heard movement. Not thief movement, human movement. Careful steps. I peeped through my window. 2 young boys from the compound were standing near Moosa's door. They were whispering and laughing small. They dared each other to enter his room. One boy stepped inside and quickly jumped back. He laughed, shaking. The other boy went inside and kicked Moosa's mattress. Moosa sat up slowly. The boys froze. Moosa did not shout. He did not stand. He just looked at him with tired eyes. He told him to go back to sleep. He told them not to play with what they did not understand. The boys ran. That moment broke something in me. This man was not dangerous. He was wounded. The next day, Musa did not go to the junction to sell his things. He stayed inside his room all day. I passed by once and saw him sitting with his back to the wall, staring at the door. In the evening, I gathered courage and greeted him properly for the first time. He looked surprised, then nodded. I asked him if he was not tired. He looked at me for a long time before answering. He said tiredness is small compared to waiting. He said when a man fails once, sleep will never be full again. That night the compound was quiet, too quiet. Around 1 a.m. I heard heavy footsteps, more than one. My heart started beating fast. I knew something was coming, and I knew Musa's door was still open.
The footsteps that night were not hiding. They were bold, heavy, many. Anybody that heard them knew these were not children and not drunk men. Fear entered my body like cold water. I lay flat on my bed and listened. The footsteps stopped near Musa's room. My heart was beating so loud I was sure they could hear it. I slowly sat up and peeped through the small opening in my door. 3 men stood in the corridor. One held a long stick. Another held something metal that caught small light from the moon. They looked around, checking who was awake. Musa was still lying on his mattress. His door was wide open, like always. One of the men laughed small. He said this one was free gift. He said this one did not fear death. They entered. I wanted to shout. My throat closed. My body refused to move. One man kicked Musa's mattress with his leg. Another asked him where he kept his money. Musa sat up slowly. He did not scream. He did not beg. He looked at them and said he had nothing they wanted. He said they should leave. The men laughed again. One raised the stick. That was when Musa spoke words that froze the air. He said if they wanted to enter, they had entered. He said if they wanted to kill, they should kill. He said he had been waiting for years. The men paused. Something about his voice changed. It was not strong. It was not weak. It was empty. One of the men stepped back. He asked his friends if they were sure. He said this man was not normal. The one with the metal thing pointed it closer to Musa. His hand was shaking. Musa did not move. He said there was a night he locked the door and watched somebody die. He said since then sleep had been punishment. He said he was tired of waiting. The corridor felt tight, like the walls were listening. One of the men cursed and stepped back again. Another dropped the stick. Suddenly the men turned and ran. Their footsteps hit the ground hard as they escaped through the gate. For a long time nobody moved. Then somebody screamed. Lights came on. Doors opened. People rushed into the corridor. They surrounded Musa's room. They looked at him like somebody that came back from death. The landlord arrived with anger and fear on his face. He shouted at Musa for risking everybody's life. He said this was the last warning. Musa listened quietly. When the crowd left, Musa stayed sitting on his mattress. His hands were shaking. I stood there, watching him breathe like somebody that just woke up from deep water. That night, something changed. Musa did not lie down immediately. He stood up and walked to the door. He held the door edge for a long time. I thought he would close it. He did not. He went back to his mattress and sat there till morning. But I saw something in his eyes. For the first time, the waiting was cracking, and I knew the end was close.
Morning came slowly after the night of the robbers. The compound woke up like a place that survived war. People moved gently. Voices were low. Everybody looked at Musa's room as they passed, like the ground there was still hot. Musa did not come out early as usual. His door was still open, but he stayed inside. I could see him sitting on the mattress, head bowed, hands resting on his knees. He looked smaller. The landlord came again before noon. This time he did not shout. He did not come with people. He stood in front of Musa's door and spoke calmly. He said everybody was scared. He said the compound could not continue like this. He said Musa had suffered enough. Musa listened quietly. After a long silence, Musa stood up. He walked slowly to the door and looked outside. He looked at the corridor. He looked at the faces watching him. He looked at the place where rain always entered. He said he had been awake for many years. He said every night he waited for the door to open so he would not be the one to lock it again. He said fear once made him selfish. He said leaving the door open was his way of staying awake forever. He said he knew his brother would not come back through that door. He said he knew punishment does not bring the dead back. His voice broke, but he did not cry. He said he was tired. The landlord nodded slowly. That evening something happened that none of us expected. As the sun went down, Musa cleaned his room properly. He mopped the floor. He washed his mattress and spread it outside to dry. He arranged his small things neatly. People stood in the corridor pretending not to watch. When night came, Musa lay down like usual. The door was still open. Then, slowly, he sat up. He stood and walked to the door. His hands shook as he held it. He paused like somebody standing between two worlds. Then he pulled the door inward. Not fully, just small. Air still entered. Light still passed. Musa lay down and closed his eyes. That night, for the first time since I knew him, Musa slept without sitting up. No footsteps came. No thief came. No scream came. Morning came. Musa woke up and stepped outside. He greeted people. His eyes looked clearer. He still left the door open that day, but not wide again. And every night after that, the door closed a little more, until one night it closed completely and stayed closed. In our compound, life returned to normal, but any time I pass Musa's door, I remember something. Some people leave their doors open not because they're brave, but because they're still waiting to forgive themselves.